Alright, well, what Rabbit wants, Rabbit gets. Apparently he wants to see some more boxes of random toys, so here is a box, and not only a box, but a shoebox. And as you can see, it's busting at the seams there, with fairly, I'm going to say random, but there is sort of a running theme throughout. These are kind of mainly 90s toys, and I put them all together, thinking, I quite fancy sort of showing these off a bit, but I don't quite know how I'm going to do it, so this is how I'm going to do it. First up, here is a figure from Conan. This was the sort of 90s Conan cartoon series. Some really weird toys from it. They all had these kind of pull strings on, which you don't really see very often with toys. There's a pull string mechanism. There's also some figures from the Highlander TV cartoon show. And here is Sean Connery's character, whatever he was called. Off the top of my head, I cannot think what his name was. Gotta think. Anyway, I'm sure you'll all know. If not, Google it. I would. And here is Connor. I didn't know. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. Connor MacLeod, or whatever he was called. I do have his coat. Yes, these. I probably should have put that on first. I do believe that's the Punisher's knife as well. So, don't quite know why he's ended up with it, but I'll just put it on one arm just so you can get to see it from the side there. So they were pretty cool figures. I remember they kind of turned up in a kind of cheapy shop and picked them up, most of them up, I think, for a very good price. And here's Conan with his crowny sort of thing. Look at the length of that! Wow! Hang your washing up on that. So there's Conan in one of his alternate costumes. There's a mask figure here who I like the fact that he can just tip his head right back. So you can put food in him. Some of the mask figures were pretty cool. This one I think has supposed to have the beating heart action. So he's boom, 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 boom. And overall, pretty nice looking figure, really. What year was this one? 94. Blow my neck. Was that when the mask came out? My God! How old do I feel right now? Here's Knight Rider in its classic red colours. When I picked this up, I knew it was Knight Rider, but I can't remember what it was actually off this one. So if anybody's into the 80s Knight Rider stuff and knows, give us a message. Some more Highlander figures. This one's the kind of does the sort of punch you in the face action. And, nice. I like the soft goods that came with them. Very good. Soft goods. You don't get enough soft goods on toys these days, except unless you get a Barbie, obviously. In which case, basically, that's its selling point. Here is Robin Hood, or Peter Pan, Robin Hood. And he has a sort of swivel punch action. Quite far back twist he can do. And I think what I'll do is I'll just tilt my camera down a bit, because I cannot... It's probably a bit better. You can try a bit better there. There's one of the Lost Boys, so he's walking along there saying, has anyone got Google Maps? I don't know where I am. And here's Alec Baldwin when he was young and thin and hot as they come. In his little tuxedo here. He does have the Ninja Turtles kind of good I love being a turtle action. And I do have his sort of mask thing that goes with it. And he becomes the Shadow. The Shadow knows. The Shadow figures are really cool. They're a bit taller than sort of some of the figures that were around at the same time, which is a shame because these would have gone really nice with the sort of Batman animated figures. But I do have the kind of regular Shadow. This is probably the best one. It does have some nice light piping, not that you'll be able to see that at all. And I also have the Invisible Shadow, who not only is he invisible, but he also covers himself up and shoots you at the same time. It wasn't me! It wasn't me! Right, moving on to some Space Apes, or whatever the cartoon was called with these. They were actually really cool figures. Not obviously that well articulated, but, you know, the kind of fact that you've got Monkeys in Space, you know, very kind of ahead of its time, I guess, or behind its time, because they were sort of sending monkeys into space in the 60s, weren't they? So this one is the Gorilla. Obviously, as I get through the box, it is quite full still, as you can see. I'll just shout out what's there. Right, this one is the guy from the Mighty Boosh, the psychic guy, and he has hand. Blink and you'll miss it. Basically, this hand, if you have the ability to slow videos down, I'll do it. Yeah, you can just see it sort of twists, but obviously when you do it like that, there's no way you can see it doing it, can you? And Tarzan! Unfortunately, his button does not work anymore, but when you press that, I used to see catchphrases like, I've just stood on a bit of Lego, and things like that. Don't remember these being very popular. They came in weird packaging, like kind of a big fat sort of box and things, rather than just a card with a bubble on. I do have a deluxe version that I got way back in the day, but this is just one I picked up, sort of flea market style. And a James Bond Jr. figure. Da, da, da. This is the skateboard dude who has the swivel hips action, which is very important for skateboarding. And another shadow figure. This is my original one, and I gave him a haircut for some whatever reason you give people a haircut. I guess he dishonoured my family, so I had to cut that off. In shame. I do have another one of him though. Where is he? Dig down deep, there you can. That's how long his hair is normally, so obviously that's not very sort of toilet friendly. And it's nice to have one with the full sort of little ponytail kind of coming out there. And there's Hook with the sort of, this one has the different hook appendages. Yes, a chewed hook and a chewed knife. Hello, children! Right, who remembers the Toxic Crusaders? This one is one of the good guys, the Sergeant-y kind of second-in-command dude. Very Ninja Turtle-esque kind of, we'll cash in on that, thank you very much, please, thanks for your money. And here's another space chimp, this is the Orangutan. Again, like, I love toys from around about this time because they all kind of fit in together. You know, you could kind of put them with Ninja Turtles and these guys and other things, and you know, kind of Bucky O'Hare and all them kind of all really fit well together, have similar scale. And who doesn't like kind of monkeys in boiler suits? So I definitely wouldn't mind getting the full set of them if I get the chance. Some more Toxic Crusaders. He's the four-armed bad guy. And I guess he's God knows what he's called, but he has this thing that sticks in the bottom there to help him. I think that's supposed to be full of toxic waste, although it does look like kind of some kind of organ. And basically you pump toxic waste into his lungs because you can't breathe normal oxygen. And the box is still half full. Am I running out of space? Not quite. This one was my favourite Toxic Avenger. This was the first one I ever got. Not my original one. That one got chewed and shot and all sorts of nasty things done to it. But this one is the dog one, which has a nice bitey feature. Although I always kind of thought it was weird that he'd be biting his own tongue. Which, you know, I mean, that is a tongue and a half. Like, obviously very good for licking things out of bowls, I guess. So there you go, that's that. Toxic Crusader Bad Guy Henchmans. I've got quite a few of these because I picked them up when they were in flea market-y stuff, and I thought, well, if I'm going to army build, I'm going to army build with these guys. They're awesome. I think this is all I've got. I did maybe have a few more lying around elsewhere, but that looks like all I've got in the box at the moment. And then you've got Faith from the A-Team, and he's going to dive on the back there. And a two-headed dude from the Toxic Crusaders. I do like the kind of juxtaposition of the big sort of buff surf dude and then the kind of green sciencey withered hump on his back, and then the kind of giving him a hug there. Just a nice little touch. Here is the fat kid from Hook, and he rolls up into a ball, which is a nice little action feature. I believe you could put things on his arm there or something, and basically you could just roll him along like that. Good for going bowling with. Oh look, here's the Mures, or whatever he was called, from Highlander. He needs a bit of a touch-up job on his head there, but I believe this was again another flea market find, as most of the people in this box are. Another chimp! This one was the main guy, kind of, don't know, again, I really didn't watch this cartoon, but I did actually really like the figures. So, hey, Alf Bald. So that's, I will call him Cornelius, or Cornelius. This one is the bad guy. He's a monkey with no brain. Supposed to have a brain and a tail, but this one does not. Very much the same as Cornelius. And then the little monkey. Oh, you wicked little monkey. This one is one of them monkeys that doesn't have thumbs. And he came with this kind of walking appendage thing, because this was the science dude, but he is removable from it. So, there you go. Now this one is an original from back in the day that I got. And he's kind of pretty cool, like. Pretty long arms and a very long tail. Excellent. Very good at grabbing and pulling himself up on things. Yes. I have the Toxic Avenger. Now this is awesome. I do very much like the Toxic Avenger movies. I do like the Trauma movies, just because they're so bad they're good. And this one's really cool. I believe he has a glow-in-the-dark eye. And if you don't have a Toxic Avenger, you need to get one. I even gave him the mop from WWF, one of the figures. So there he has his crime-fighting mop. Da-da-da! Toxic Avenger! Mostly Toxic Avengers, I guess, this box. Here's Conan. Now I remember this one. Let's see if I can push these back a bit. Go on, Conan, if anyone can do it, it's you, man. There you go. I remember this one. They kind of were doing a giveaway when Conan was on, either like Live and Kicking or something like that. And they were like, oh, you can win these Conan toys. And they were like showing off his action feature, which is to do that. Now, obviously, this one's quite old and stuff, and his arms move around, but basically, they had him doing that, which had the presenters laughing their bits and pieces off at the kind of the fact that it's a kids sort of presenting show, and Conan was having a bit of a sort of, what would you call that? Stress relief. That's what we'll call it. No Zone. Now this one's brilliant. Look, it comes with a wheel as a foot, which is pretty handy. Good for like measuring distances, them things that you push along with a little line on there, and also you can paint lines on roads and things. And his goggles, I don't think I have them, but you put sort of slime in there and it would come out of his nose, which is always a very nice feature for a toy. Right, we're getting right down to the nitty gritty now. I've got a few of these random characters from Reboot. So here's Hitler and Hillbilly Jim, and some Afro dude. Can't remember where I got them from now, but I think it was like a game shop or something, but they were like dirt cheap. So I just thought, well, I'll have to have some of them. And here is a businessman. His glasses or glass monocle, kind of singular, as it he only has one eye. There you go. Looks like Sue Perkins. And then here is the bad guy's henchman, this sort of skeletal dude with a glow-in-the-dark head. The sciencey henchman dude who's rather fat and grotesque and has this really big sort of knee thing there. For what purpose that serves, I do not know. There are two Toxic Avengers. Right. And here, this guy was from, he still is, but he has his legs. They are not missing, I still have them.